and I feel like there's different ways to describe the word permaculture. You can also describe its impact. And that's basically what myself and Tom and Natalie is we look at this design science that's here and how it can be a tool in if it's designed well in a program that can amplify it to millions of people. The Gates Foundation is being sued by multiple organizations around East and West Africa for failing by promoting AGRA, which is the Green Revolution approach, which is this chemical extractive industrial system. They're being sued because of their loss of food security, and
Wow.
there's real pushback happening right now. And right at the same time, we're coming into the industry, which we've been doing since 2014 with this permaculture, which we call resilience design, which is a mix of permaculture, agroecology, agroforestry, soil food web, rainwater harvesting, and we've packaged it into the unique and often challenging program environments found in a humanitarian setting. We have a seat at the table now. Like we are, USAID is actually calling for resilience design in some of its proposals that it puts out into the world. It says here we have $40 million. We want resilience design. We want permagardens, which is the smallest scale design within the resilience design framework. We have this relationship here, which it's a partnership with a local organization called African Women Rising, which is the lead on this. They are the ones that have been rooted here for like 18 years, working with the host community, and then now working in this refugee camp. And I think we are the actual first permaculture demonstration, research, and training center in a refugee camp, and it's pretty exciting. Like
Wow.
we're about 2.5 years into its development, and we're in the midst. We're on the ninth day of our third training. We have 55 students from 20 organizations, including different UN organizations, local organizations, regional organizations, the Danish Refugee Council, the Danish Church Aid, CARE, like all these different organizations are represented here, some of the largest in the world. And we have people from about 8 different countries learning how to do this on the ground and how to use the resilience design toolkit that has been developed over the past 10 years. Myself and Thomas Cole were hired by USAID's Bureau of Humanitarian Affairs to develop this toolkit with a team of people that we were some of the lead technical advisors for. And so the Bureau of Humanitarian Affairs, and before that it was Food for Peace, and there's been kind of different iterations of how this has landed within USAID, but they've helped us to develop these toolkits that, everything from, farm design to large landscape work that we've done on a lot of different levels. This is working at the water and landscape. Natalie Topa and I basically wrote this manual for USAID in partnership with NURI and the Danish Refugee Council. But our training is very unique, and one of the things that I want to share is this center that we have. Um, we call it a Regen Ag humanitarian training, where we use resilience design at the core of it, and we do it in partnership with African Women Rising. And the way that this looks, like we actually have we're working with this African Women Rising group, who is mostly Acholi and about 10% South Sudanese, who are the refugees in this area. So it's an organization made up of the people who they are serving. In fact, a lot of the staff are actually former participants in their programming.
Yeah.
So we were given about 15 acres of land in the middle of the camp and started to design it. And I'm going to get to the training, Jesse. Just give
That's
me a
fine.
moment.
Nope.
So
Keep going.
we worked with their staff to design it, and basically start an implementation process where you can see already how it stands out in the land around, and even in like 18 months, and I haven't even updated
Wow.
for the pictures from this. How it's already just an amazing center with so many different world-class classroom. All of this is in
Beautiful.
the middle of this refugee settlement.
Mm,
And so what we are doing is pretty amazing, because there's a training that's going on here that is literally this course where we begin in the classroom. And so we do the basics of water or hydrology and hydrological stabilization. We look at the geology and the soils, and then we look at the biology and the biodiversity, that how we work with the creating biodiversity. But and then we wrap that in a very unique community engagement process. And so
mm,
let me walk you through a training that we
please.
do here. So we start in the classroom. So we have students from all over the world come. We've now, with this cohort, we have over 150 students that from close to 30 agencies that have now trained with us. And even in our preliminary surveys with them, we're already over 2 million people that this course is directly impacting because of who we're working with. So when I talk about that leveraging, you might have one person coming in who is charged in their agency to bring this to 500,000 people or 200,000 people or 10,000 people or households. And
Wow.
so there's a lot of leverage here. So when we're training, we begin in the classroom. Like here we have the World Food Program, which is who Natalie works for now, and who she's changing the paradigm there. And we do activities around farm exercises. You know, the typical thing you do in a classroom. This is our classroom. And then we get out there around the classroom and we
Mm,
start learning the principles that we'll do in the community. Things like resource walks, how to look at what's available in the local community, how to do double digging and deep soil preparation and embedding important bionutrients into the soils. We look at different design activities, and then we go into the community and what they learned in the first few days, and they actually apply it in a refugee context. So
perfect.
here we're in a refugee settlement. There's like 100 of us with the community, all the students, and then our African Women Rising facilitators who are magical. They are amazing. Everybody who comes through here, well, first they try to hire them because they're really committed people with a lot of dirt time. I know in permaculture we like to call it that. It's dirt time. They
Yeah.
are literally out there every day building permagardens, doing field crop programming, building food for us. So we start, and we always talk about the 3Ds of RD, or demonstration, demonstration, and demonstration. And we do a sponge demonstration, which is an activity that Brad Lancaster taught us. And he
Yeah.
was on our technical team for the first year and was really influential in how we bring into our work the rainwater harvesting. And then we do this whole process of sitting a good part of a day hearing the story of community, drawing out the wisdom of community, seeing what resources are there. We spend, people in communities are in these refugee communities are so often approached by different NGOs. They're these organizations and come in and they say, we want to give you this, we're going to do this programming with you. What they tell us and the feedback we get is that oftentimes we're the first time an NGO is listening to them. That's
Yikes.
actually honoring their voice and their understanding of the world around them, and we let that be our guide. And those of you who do permaculture, it is about designing with the community that where that design is going to land. You are supporting a design process, and then
Absolutely.
we start the process of looking at how we stabilize the hydrology, or what we like to say, plant the rain. You always plant the rain before you plant your plants. And then we work with the community to do our designs, and we start that process and we work through that, and then we sit together and have lunch with everyone. It's one of these things that over all the days we're in the community, we don't just go in and we're like a whirlwind that comes in. We also sit and break bread together, and we share stories, and we are working beside them. And then we get to work. And this is where we're working right alongside. So when people come to our workshop, it isn't just a workshop, it's a work hard shop. And actually, Natalie, I think you were the one that coined that phrase. She's the master of phrase coinage. And so this idea of a work hard shop, and we're out there not with our shiny shoes and clipboards going into a community telling them what they're doing. We're saying, we're going to help you with your dream of reforesting this and having a lot of food year round, and being able to have the income to pay for the school fees for your children to go to school. We're going to be here to help you design this process and to turn the flooding that's going on into food. And so here we're starting this process, and I love seeing this. Like here, we're in the community. This is a refugee settlement, so each household has a 30-meter by 30-meter area. We're designing it out, and then right off the bat, even just a couple months into it, there's a lot of food already growing there. This is the same compound. If you look at this, that's now 4 months after the TOT. So this is an area, if you look beyond,
Wow.
it's just flat and it's hard panned, and they say nothing can grow here. They kept saying that to us. Nothing can grow here. This is impossible, because if you just plant a seed in the soil, it doesn't work. But if you restructure the hydrology and the soil, you can grow everything there, nearly everything. And so here, immediately within 10 days, a refugee is eating from the garden. They're eating cowpea greens, they're eating amaranth greens. And so we're basically working through this process of cascading this through the community. So when you're learning how to do this, you're actually doing it in a refugee context at our training center here. Here we're teaching smile berms and how to do deep soil preparation and how to make growing beds associated with them, so that every single structure is a important place in the landscape that's actually boosting the soil biome, and you're boosting the hydrology in that landscape, and you have multiple forms of production. In fact, Tom and I were just in a community that had a training like 7 months ago from the African Women Rising staff, and it had already been replanted, the smile berm, and they had 15 different forms of food growing on one smile berm that was just 2.5 meters across, and they had appropriately placed it. They had really seen the value of how much you can do biointensive growing in an area if you plant the rain and the nutrients that come with the rain.
It has impacted everything in actuality. I think that in the beginning, when I learned about it, the understanding of every decision I make and how that reflects on my work and my life, it's been helpful in guiding my relationships with others as well. My family, my friends. It's the best thing that came along in my life.